problem don't lie with the fact that prostitution and
This, my friends, is something that is known in the world of debate as a logical fallacy. And this particular fallacy is known as a straw man fallacy. Straw man fallacy is basically when you're trying to argue your position as if to the point where the other person, the opponent, was not talking about in the first place. In terms of the street, is basically putting words in our mouth. So let me begin. There's a lot to unpack here. All right, let me introduce myself. My name is Ray Condor, okay? Ray Condor. You can call me Ray Condor. I'm a Colombian digital content creator. Now, you have another digital content creator, and I will suggest everybody to watch this video in full so you can see the context of what he's talking about. He's talking about two things. Number one, he says that the local government in Medellin they are pushing tourists away from soliciting prostitutes in the parquejeras, and they wanted to do it in private. And he says he doesn't understand why. Okay, all right, even though it's very obvious, we're gonna talk about that in a moment. And then he says that what he doesn't understand is that the local Colombians are blaming. He said the local Colombians are blaming tourists for the problem, and he says what the problem is prostitution itself. Once again, this is a strawman fallacy. When you're arguing the opponent, when you're arguing the other person's point to a point where they were not talking in the first place, putting words in our mouth. All right, let me explain. Number one, the reason why prostitution is legal in Colombia, it is for the protection of the adult service worker. And when I'm talking about adult service worker, I'm not talking about women only. I'm talking about men also, and I'm talking about transgender because it provides them certain protections. If you do not pay her, you're going to go to jail because certain people will tend to do that type of abuse. If you hit her, him, or a transgender person, transgender woman or transgender man, you will go to jail. If you try to change the prices after the services were given, you will go to jail. If you are trying to belittle them, push them aside, if you're trying to ostracize them, you will go to jail. This is not for your benefit as a man, as the one who partakes and pays for the service. And I'm not saying that he does but that's what he's trying to defend because he said he doesn't understand that. It is for the benefit of the service worker. They can go to doctors, they can get health checks, they don't have the stigmatization, they can have the right to not be abused. And if they are being abused, they can go to a police officer. Okay, number two, he says that he doesn't understand why the problem is. The problem here is not prostitution itself. The problem is that these foreign men are flying thousands of miles to assault women, sometimes delete women, to touch little kids, and to be debaucherous and disrespectful in public. Before the whole passport bro craze came in, because me, I am a Colombian who was born in Colombia, raised there, okay, went to school there. My first language was Spanish. I would like to tell you that this is always the Colombian mentality been. If you adults are going to do adult things, you are going to do it in private. You're not going to do it in front of little kids. You're not going to do it in front of churches. You're not going to do it in front of clergy. You're not going to do it in front of families. But some of these people, like the infamous Russian that got kicked out twice, who was having these ex parties with transgender women, and I'm not trying to put transgender women down because I am an ally of the LGBTQ community, but people have to go to school, people have to go to church, people have to go to work. We do not need to see this type of behavior. Number two, assaults. How many times have I showed in my past videos of these passport bros assaulting women, like the one woman from Medellin, because you could tell that she's light skinned. She went to Cartagena on the coast. Four passport bros, older men, had basically assaulted her. They agreed on a service. She gave a service to each of these four men. All right, four men, one after the other. All right, which is not healthy by any means. And then they got into an argument, and she said it was supposed to be $100 for everybody. And you know what these people they try to do? They try to swindle her. They said no, it was less than that. These guys could not pull $25 each, and because she refused to leave, one of them slapped the phone out of her hand, and then then it got into a physical altercation. They threw her outside, and they almost threw her down the stairs. Okay, neighbors are coming out, seeing what the heck is going on, scared. They don't understand English. They're seeing these foreigners trying to wrestling this much smaller woman who they could barely hold to, and they almost threw her down the stairs. And you know what happened? The police came. What did these guys do? They bribed the cops and they fled the country. And you know what happened? The local people of Cartagena, because I was there during when that happened, they were going to give stick therapy. You know what stick therapy is? When you have like 100 group of people and they're going to go after a certain group of people and they give them stick therapy. And because of the government, now I remember. Now I'm starting to remember. Yeah, now I'm starting to remember. And because the government couldn't do anything else, and they had to save face. Okay, they basically had revoked the visas for these people, and they can never come back again. Okay, what would have happened if these people would have gotten to them? And I know how violent my people are. You know how violent my people are. We know how violent people are once they lose the temper. Okay, we're tired of seeing things like this. We're tired of these foreign men coming in here doing whatever they want, and when they get into trouble, like the one guy, that one white guy who got caught with these little girls in a hotel room with a girl who was like, I believe, 13 and 14. Okay, they captured him and he bribed the cops and he managed to escape to Ohio somewhere. Okay, and he's still, to this day, he's still hiding out there somewhere. And this is why the people are pissed off. So no, the problem here is not prostitution itself. The problem is the men. This is the common denominator, because the most 99.999% of the time, the problem is the men. Debaucherous sex acts, having sex on balconies in front of little kids. Okay, like it happened 3 times in Cartagena. Making women twerk, which they're at fault too, in broad daylight. I was in Cartagena. I took my Samoan friend. We went there. I took him to eat at lunch in the daytime by the clock tower in the walled city. I went to a nice burger place that a friend of mine took us to. 2 passport bros come by, 2 women each, and they had them twerking. You know what the owner was telling me in Spanish? Who the heck do these foreigners think they are? And I said, what's going on? He said, look at them, and then look outside, because I could see the outside, and they were sitting outside with people walking by. Look outside. I saw women walking by with little kids. Don't you think that's disrespectful? Don't you think that is wrong? And you want to sit here and wonder why the government wants you to stay private about that? And you're saying you're not understanding? And see, what you guys are trying to do is you're trying to blame it on us. Oh, you're trying to blame it all on the gringos. Oh, you're trying to blame it on all. It is not our fault that you guys have fined thousands of miles to assault women. And I have, if you go on my channel, I have given many video clips about that. I have given many examples. I have shown people who have been deleted. I have been talking about little kids who have been touched and everything else. That's what we're mad at. But what, as a typical North American does, because the North American, they like to say, oh, well, Colombians don't like to take they don't like to take responsibility or accountability. No, it is you guys who do not let take accountability. You always blame it on everybody else. You blame the Chinese. You blame the Jewish people. You blame African Americans. You blame the Latinos. You blame the Mexicans. You blame the Russians. You blame the Arabs. Everybody else except you. Okay, and I cannot. And I'm sorry to say this, but I'm flabbergasted, and I'm not sitting here with my eyes, and I even show my brother. My brother shaking his head. How can you not understand that? They don't want you to do it in public, because it's always been like this. If you're going to do adult things, do it in private. Why are you getting pissed off at that? Why are you getting angry at that? Why? Because they're going to raise the price at you. You just admitted that you are a monger, that you're traveling over there to get adult services. Okay? You're not coming down to Colombia for culture. I can guarantee you do not know where Arauca is or freaking Leticia is. You have absolutely no idea. You do not know that Colombia is the land of the 1,000 rhythms. Okay? And so here you're sitting here trying to change the subject, trying to change our point, our argument to a point that we're not talking about. The problem here is not prostitution. The problem is the men who cannot control themselves are misbehaving. Okay, assaulting women, deleting women, being violent, being vulgar in the streets, not respecting us. Like, for example, when the Holy Week came by, it's like, oh man, they're shutting down parquilleras. It's Holy Week, you moron. Even the adult services workers are Catholic. It's a mostly Catholic country. Don't you think that they need to take time off? You need to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to do whatever. Yes, they're probably going to go back to doing the old services again, which is unbiblical, but they have to follow a certain set of rules. You guys are not understanding that, and I don't understand. Okay, so once again, there's a lot more things that I can talk about, but this is the main gist of it. Adult services is legal by the Constitution for their protection, not for your benefit, okay? If you do not pay them, you go to jail. If you hurt them, you go to jail. If you try to swindle them, you go to jail, okay? And you know where it's also legal? It's legal in Las Vegas. It's legal in Germany, and it's legal in Amsterdam for the same exact reasons. And it has better regulation for the protection of the worker. So if you do not like it, go to Germany, go to Amsterdam, go to Las Vegas, and that's it.